Hello, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. Before I even start, I just want to say thank you to everyone who comes to the show and participates and asks questions and creates a synergy here every week. But I also want to thank all of the people that tune into the show when it's in the recorded format, because I really appreciate that you come and appreciate me, and I'm appreciating you back. And if you're enjoying the show, please do come to the live version, because I'd love to hear your voice and answer your questions and have you participate in what is always a very fun event. So this week, we're going to be talking about the highly sensitive person. And this topic was suggested by our very own Otto, who is a regular here. And I want to mention, if there's a topic that you would like for me to talk about, you can send me a message on Facebook. You can drop me an email by going to soulhealer.com and using the contact form. I would say leave a message on YouTube, but I don't really check those messages. But reach out to me if there's something that you would like for me to discuss, because I'm more than happy to bring in other topics. And usually I'm kind of making stuff up of what I'm going to talk about every week. And so your input is very much valued to me. And so again, today, thank you, Otto. And we're going to be talking about the highly sensitive person. And so the term highly sensitive person, I don't want to say it's a new term, but it's been around. Oh God. My sister-in-law had a book about highly sensitive people, and I'm trying to remember how long ago she showed me that book. So I'm going to say it came kind of into the vernacular maybe in the 80s, so it's not super old, but it's not a brand new concept either. And people that are identified as being highly sensitive sense things on a deeper level. These individuals tend to feel more and are often identified as being empathic. But that's not necessarily the case, because when we talk about being highly sensitive, it's not just the feeling part, although that can be the most, I'm going to say, disturbing part. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as we move on. But anyway, moving on, because I just totally lost my train of thought. But when we talk about being highly sensitive, and we've talked about this on the show before, except using a different category, and I've talked about on the show about psychic abilities, and that there are some people that have psychic abilities and some people not so much. And it's not that we don't all have that ability innate into us. It's just that some people are better at it. They're naturally more in tune to it than other people. And the example I always use is it is like dancing. There are some people that can fly around on the dance floor and make it look effortless. And then there are people that can't even clap or dance in time to the music. One is on one end of the spectrum and one is on the other end of the spectrum. And so somebody that is a highly sensitive person, in my opinion, is above that 50% line. They're more sensitive to what's going on around them and are better receivers. So last week we were talking about receiving information via the chakras. And so they're more receptive to bringing that information into their body. Now, it doesn't mean that they understand what they're receiving, and it doesn't mean that they know what to do with it. but they tend to be more affected by it. It's interesting because many people who identify themselves as highly sensitive, who have not taken the time to work with it and work with themselves, don't like it. I often joke around and say it's a blessing and a curse, because sometimes it's really great to have those insights in advance, or, be able to feel what's going on or sense what's going on whatever level, whether it's visual, audio, auditory, or on a feeling level. And then other times it's a curse. And really where it becomes the most challenging, and this is what I was kind of bringing up before, is it's with the feeling part. The feeling part, you just feel it. And there's not really any way of controlling it. Many times I'm asked, is there anything I can do about it? Is there some way to shut it off? And the answer is no, there isn't any way of shutting it off. And that's when it can become kind of a curse. I know, for example, during COVID, I was having a lot of issues because there was so much fear on the planet and so much anxiety that I was just responding to what I was feeling. But I took it upon myself to go, okay, I have a place to live, I have food, I have toilet paper, I have supplements, I'm taking care of myself. I am doing these things that are not going to precipitate a bad outcome for me. And so it maybe made it so I could separate myself from the fear I was feeling, which I came to recognize was me being highly sensitive to what was going on in the environment. And so, it is what it is. And so people that are highly sensitive, my suggestion to you is embrace it, learn about it, learn to be able to separate out, this is me, this isn't me. And because even when you separate out, it doesn't mean you can necessarily get rid of all the feelings, but you're not trying to figure out what's going on in your life. And you're not trying to take responsibility for what you're feeling or try to fix the feelings that you're having. And so if there's anybody that is highly sensitive, and I would love, for you guys to ask questions about this, because I'm just kind of doing this very generic explanation. Yeah, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. If there is a bad mojo going on, you feel it. If there's good energy going on, you feel it. But once you start taking control over it, and once you embrace it and recognize this is who I am, and I can't change it, I can't turn it off. And people that try to turn it off, I'm just telling you can't. I mean, it's easier to own it than try to dismiss it. And I've been kind of joking around about my books and stuff like that. But this new book, Dang, It Was Me All Along, there is a whole section in the book that really talks about how to navigate. Actually, the whole book talks about how to navigate your inner world. And so if you are being challenged by being overwhelmed or subject to or moving through the flow of these challenging feelings, this might give you some guidance on what to do and how to separate out what's going on in your life from what is actually happening around you. So, I do have a little bit of exciting news. So I did finally get some books in. And so if anyone has been wanting an autographed copy, please go to my website, soulhealer.com. Here, wait, I'll click on the button. soulhealer.com, and you can get an autographed copy from my webpage. You know, they're available on Amazon, blah, 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 which I've said before. Also, and I was talking to someone the other day, and I just want to mention this to you, and I think I'm going to mention this fairly regular, is that, you know, people that come here, you guys that come here and ask for readings, you know, I'm just really skimming the surface of what is going on. And often there's deeper levels of information that I don't get to because it's not really that kind of forum for it. And so if the answer I give you is okay, but not fully answering your questions, I really would suggest that you schedule a private consultation, soulhealer.com. Drop me a line. Go visit the site. Check out my books. Check out everything, soulhealer.com. And again, if you are on Facebook, you can join my group, Dr. Rita Live on Facebook. I post to that every day. Usually health and healing type stuff, kind of funny stuff. I don't know, whatever I feel like posting. If you are a Facebook person or a Rumble person, I would love you, even if you hate YouTube, if you would go to my page, Just Energy Radio on YouTube, and subscribe to my channel. You know, I don't care if you listen to shows there or don't listen to shows there, but if you would just subscribe, I would love you for that. And the same with Rumble. This show airs on Rumble. And if you would go to Rumble, if you have an account, go to Psychic Doc and follow that page, I would love you to death. And if you're listening to this show on Rumble, you know, I just want to remind you, you can join the chat on YouTube and via Facebook, but there is not a chat option on Rumble. So if you're seeing this on Rumble and want to join the conversation, please go to one of those other platforms. And then don't forget, sign up for my newsletter at soulhealer.com to keep informed of what's going on. Oh, and I don't have a thing on here because I got rid of it. Also, and I'm just giving you a heads up, my medical intuition training, where you can find it at appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, and I'll try to remember to make a button for it or a label thing. appliedenergeticsinstitute.com is going on sale of 40%, up to 40% off on the training program starting on February 15th. So you have a little bit of time to check it out. appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. So there's like a gajillion comments already. So I am going to go through, just kind of like say hi to everybody and then go back and answer questions. Okay. So we have Bobby Joe in the house. Hi, Bobby Joe. I think you're a new person. So welcome to Thursday Night Live. Glad to have you here. Oh, I should do that. We have Amy in the house. Hey, Amy. We have Bradley George. Bradley, how's it going? Miss Wendy. Oop. How are you? Otto. So Otto, I hope that was good for you. Let me know what you think. Hi, Yvonne. Let's see. Veronica. Hi, Veronica. Sean. Hi, Sean. Thanks for dropping in. Okay, we have Mr. B and friend Truth Seekers. Hey, Mr. B. Thanks for coming to the show. Okay. So Sean says, I see. Listening. I'm glad that you're listening, Sean, and I'm hoping you're getting some value. Mary, hey, how's it going? Thanks for stopping in. All right, let's see. Anybody else? Man, you guys are just chatty Cathy's tonight. All right, so let's see if there's anything that I need to say. So Wendy says, hello, not yet finished reading your book and loving it. Thank you, Wendy. And I really do hope that you'll put a review on Amazon, like a 5-star, because you love me and, you know, all that good stuff, because I don't have any reviews yet. I mean, granted, the book hasn't been out that long, but reviews are good and helpful. But thank you, Wendy, from the bottom of my heart. So Bobby Joe says that would be me. So I'm guessing that you would consider yourself a highly sensitive person or an empath. So, okay, let's see here. So Veronica says, I hate being sensitive, causes me more trouble than it's worth, cannot shut it off unless I self-medicate. But Veronica, okay, one, you can't turn it off because it's part of you. It would be like taking a cat and cutting its whiskers off. Their whiskers are part of their sensory organs, how they navigate the world. And if you shut it off, it's ingrained into you. And so maybe it's a better option to learn to work with it, learn to use it, learn to accept it, than trying to shut it off. So Sean says, been a long time. Hi, hey Rita. Hi, everybody. Okay, Yvonne says, I'm highly sensitive. I find I have to express them safely, otherwise I implode. And then she says she can distract herself sometimes. For me, I don't know. I have really started using it to navigate my life. I mean, and I always joke around about this. And, thank God Walmart is not like in charge of, censor stuff, because they would have like kicked me off the air a long time ago. But when I go into Walmart or when I go into certain places, I have to really like kind of put my guard up and go in with a mission and an intention and do my stuff and leave. But we can only really maintain that armoring, I'm going to say 15 minutes. And the rest that we can do is just be aware. And if it's not working for us and we're uncomfortable, then maybe we need to stop and look at what's going on and make a choice whether we want to continue in that situation, continue in that environment, continue with those people, or make a different choice. Because sometimes it's like we subject ourselves to noxious people and noxious environments and don't think we have a choice, but we always have a choice. You never have to go to Walmart. I found out that Walmart has like a delivery thing like Amazon, where you pay $100 a year and you get Paramount Plus, and they'll deliver your food to your house. I hardly ever go into Walmart. If there's something very specific that I need to get, that I need to look at or touch, or, a birthday gift for the grandkid or something like that, I'll go in. But everything else I deliver. So I took what was a pretty intolerable situation for me and made it so that it's navigable. Okay. So Yvonne says, question, I've been approached, a creative job, but I'm not sure if it's on the level. Any thoughts? See, this is one where I would maybe want to get a bit more information. So I'm just going to say it this way. I mean, I feel like it's on the level, but the caveat I have to it is that they have these expectations that are way out of line. And I don't know that you could keep up with what they're looking for. I don't know if they're deadline driven or what their deal is, but I just feel like you would go in and you would be overwhelmed and overworked and not nearly paid enough. I had a job and they didn't pay me hardly anything. It was a fill-in job from when I first moved to Texas. And it's like, well, if you're going to pay me less than half of my previous salary, then you're only going to get less than half of my effort. I didn't last at that job very long. And I feel like what they're offering salary wise, pay wise, is not congruent with the level of work and effort they're going to require from you. That's the impression I'm getting. I don't know that I have enough information, but that's kind of what I'm getting. Okay, so Sean says, I need to go buy me a book when I get paid, though. Okay, so it's cheaper on Amazon if you have Prime. I'm just saying that, but the only place you can get a bam, autograph copy is from me. And then you have to pay shipping, which is not cheap. All right, so Bradley says, the answer you give myself, gets me off my keister and research. Well, that's great, Bradley. And it's not really about researching externally, but more about paying attention to, if you're sensing something and it's uncomfortable, because, when we have good emotions and we're being highly sensitive, we're fine. There's no issue at all. It's when we have the bad emotions and we feel bad and we're uncomfortable, that's where the issue comes in. And so, but using those times and using those moments to stop and go, what's going on? Again, is it me? If this isn't me and me having bad brain, I'm sorry, I'm crossing my legs and this table is wobbling, and I'm having bad brain, it's a very different thing than you're having a negative reaction to the people that you're around or the situation that you're in. And use the bad feelings to become curious. Use the discomfort to stop and look around and go, oh, I'm uncomfortable. Why am I uncomfortable? What's going on in my life, or not going on in my life, as the case may be, that is creating this discomfort? Okay, so Sean said, took a screenshot, don't have Rumble, might look into that one. Rumble's okay. I don't really post on there. I just stream to it. There are only so many social media platforms that actually have live stream. I've been thinking about switching over to Twitter, but I got rid of my Twitter account a long time ago. So that's why I'm doing Rumble. So Veronica says, just joined on Rumble. Well, then follow me, Psychic Doc, on Rumble. Hi, Marco. Oh, so wait. Oh, you did say hi to me. I was going to say, wait a minute, Marco, you didn't even say hi to me. But I only get like lowercase. Okay, so yeah, you can all see it on the screen. I get lowercase Rita hi and the Veronica hi in all uppercase. Man. And then see, even Yvonne, Veronica, you better watch out. Yvonne might be moving in. She gets all capital letters. So Marco says, I love when Rita reads our comments, but at least I'm not like screwing them up really bad. Okay, so Otto says, and thank you again, Otto. I think it's a great topic. On the 8th, or highly sensitive person and or empath, I have to do a lot of clearing work every day. Some ways I feel like Velcro. I do tapping, I do breathing every day, and it's not like I spend hours and hours and hours doing it. I ground myself, but I'll, spend a moment here and spend a moment there and spend a moment there. So you might investigate why everything sticks to you. And if you start looking at the kinds of things that are sticking to you, because you might start to notice a pattern in the feelings, emotions, thoughts, stuff that is sticking, because that would be another clue of what might need to be cleared inside of you. So Sean says, I can't stand Walmart. I always joke around that you can tell a not highly sensitive person because they can go to Walmart and like shop and spend hours there and not have their skin crawl. So Highly sensitive people, most of them can't stand Walmart. And it's really weird because I can go shopping in other stores for the most part and it's okay, but there's something about Walmart and it doesn't matter which one it is, where it is, they all have that same vibe and I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay, let's see. And then Bradley says it can be used for higher good. Well, when you start paying attention to what's going on inside, with the intention of, I'm going to make choices for myself that leave me feeling good, that leave me in a higher vibration, that leave me in a positive, happy place, then getting that insight and getting that information is very helpful and very useful. And again, the same for the negative. If you're feeling that negative vibe, what do you need to do to shift that to be a more positive vibe? Amy says, hi, Miss Amy. I think your new book is absolutely fascinating, super useful, and gives great new perspectives. Love the explanation about how impactful the subconscious is. Wow. Well, and it's interesting because people don't talk about it. People don't talk about the subconscious mind. When you sit there and, one of the comments that I make in the book is that you would think that mental health practitioners would have more to say about what you need to do in order to be happy. But they're really kind of silent about the whole thing. They will talk about every conceivable kind of maladaptive behavior anybody might want or might have and leave you feeling broken and less than teaching you how to be happy and what you need to do to bring joy into your life. And that was one of the finds that I had in writing this book, was that they don't talk about it. And you would think that's their job, to help make you be happy, and they're kind of not, which is sad. Okay, so let's see. So Sean says, I have a question. How on earth do you know if you have an attachment? Like, I feel like I'm just cursed. That's how I feel. Can't seem to get rid of any negativity around here. But negativity doesn't necessarily mean an attachment. And so this is the pattern that I've experienced and other people experience if they have an attachment. So you're going along, and actually on my website, there are several articles about attached entities. And there's one that is about attached entities and the dissociative experience, something like that. But soulhealer.com, and if you just type in the search thing, attached entities, it'll bring those up. And so this is the pattern that you'll often see. So the person is like, la, 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 I'm happy, life is good, or, happy as it's going to be, whatever. And then something will happen. Somebody will say something and they trigger one of your core beliefs or something inside of you that takes you into a negative pattern of thinking. And it starts to ramp up, and that's when the entity comes. The entity is always attached to a certain emotional vibration. It's that vibration that feeds them. And so, and then they'll kind of like stay in your space and really work to stay in your space, because now they're feeding off of you. They're doing their little parasitic thing until you can clear your energy enough to move out of that cycle of negative thinking. And at that point in time, the entity moves back out because you've resealed your auric field. Again, it goes into a lot of detail in the articles on the webpage. And so just because there's negativity around you, or you have a lot of negative thinking, does not equal entity. And again, this is about finding happiness, because I used to have a lot of negative thinking and not anymore. I mean, and even when, and it's not that So I kind of talked about this a little bit. So I bought a project house and I've been running on overdrive the last few weeks. And so today I wasn't having negative thinking. I mean, things are fine. But I have to tell you, I was freaking cranky as hell. Cranky and tired. And I was like, okay, you are cranky. I'm like talking to people and I'm like, and so I decided, because I don't want to be cranky, that I'm taking basically tomorrow off to just take care of some stuff around the house, not really like go to the house and do a bunch of work and stuff, because I'm paying attention to, wow, you are really cranky today. What do I need to do to unwind myself to not be cranky? And those are the kind of questions that we need to ask. What do I need to do to move me out of this place? And just because you meditated one time and it worked, it doesn't mean that it's going to work the next time. So you really have to ask on a day-to-day basis, on a situation by situation basis, what do I need to do right now? And it might be that you read a book. It might be that you take a nap. It might be that you go to Starbucks and get a coffee. It might be that you go shopping or go visit a friend. What that is ever changing in that moment. And the bigger part is the curiosity and the asking. And so if you're experiencing negativity around you, maybe you're around negative people, maybe you have negative thoughts that you need to start paying attention to and identifying how you can shift them. Again, the book, that's what it's all about. But if you're not having these moments of dissociation, then, just off the surface, I'm going to say, no, I don't think that you have an entity. Okay. So Yvonne says, I have very little information at the moment. I'll let you know if that's true. Thanks, Rita. Well, you're very welcome. Okay. Hey, Miss Debbie Goulet. I think I'm talking really loud. Am I talking really loud? I'm kind of feeling like it. But anyway. All right. So Sean is back. Oh, and is it just energy? Yeah, that's why it's just energy radio. Or an attachment. I don't know how to tell. Sorry, might seem like a weird question. No, it's not a weird question. There are a lot of people. Okay, so this is my spiel about the whole thing. So if you went back 20 or 30 years, I mean, I've been in this business and been studying this stuff for forever. If there were bad things going on in your life, or you had a challenging life, or things weren't going the way you felt they should, everyone would run around and go, oh, well, I had bad past lives and this is why this is going on for me. And so people have kind of let that line of thought go. And it has all moved into, my life sucks, so I must have an entity attachment. An entity attachment isn't going to change your luck, and for the most part, and isn't going to change anything. And Sean, if that's something that you want to explore, if you can, then maybe schedule a private consultation. This isn't, I don't really drive that deep in this format, and I don't think it's fair to you to make that kind of commentary without being able to provide you with some steps and solutions as well. Marco fixed it. He says, Rita, hi, all uppercase. Thank you, Marco. I love you too. Any suggestions for the new moon in Aquarius tomorrow, ritual-wise, for us empath? So, Yvonne, I don't do any rituals. I mean, other than like keeping my space clear, but they're not rituals. So I am not a ritual person. So when in doubt, meditate, do things to clear your space. Don't necessarily really pay attention to astrology too. So I got nothing. I got nothing for you. Okay. Mary says, I feel that many Walmart patrons have a lot of baggage they carry with them. It just drags me down if I'm there too long. Me too. I mean, I've actually gotten a little bit better. Like I'll go in for whatever. I was reupholstering my kitchen chairs and I needed to get some batting. I think that was the word. But I couldn't figure it out off the webpage. The images weren't really clear. So I was like, you need to go into the store and, because I knew they sold it, but I didn't know what I needed. And I was actually able to like go and look at the batting. And I actually like kind of walked around the store a little bit, and looked at clothes and whatever. And, not the, it's really weird. Walmart has some of the ugliest clothes, but then they have some stuff that you can't find other places. And the most weird stuff is some of the clothes that I have gotten at Walmart, because I like mock turtlenecks and, certain weird stuff. They have lasted the longest of anything that I bought anywhere else. So I don't really understand that disparaging part of Walmart. Anyway. All right. Veronica says, if I go to the mall, that affects me that way. Cannot handle the lights, the chemicals, the crowds. Yeah, I can't do the mall. If I go with someone, I find it a lot easier if I go with someone because then if I'm feeling overloaded, I can just kind of follow them around. A friend of mine dragged me out, and this is something I never, ever, ever, ever do, but I got kind of sucked into it. And I got dragged out on Black Friday going clothes shopping. And I was pretty much paralyzed. My goal was to just not be freaking out. And my friend bought all this stuff and looking at everything. And I'm like kind of wandering up and down the aisles and kind of moving stuff. And I bought a dog toy because I just couldn't focus and I couldn't pay attention. It was way overwhelming and too overloading. Okay. So Marco says, oh, see, Marco and Veronica are twinsies. Oh my God, me too, Veronica. The lights, the noise in my head from the crowd. Oh my God. Okay. So Marco says, being an empath, crowds are not good for me. Yeah, crowds, for people that are highly sensitive, crowds can be hard because there's just an overwhelming amount of energy. But if you know that there's going to be, you're moving into an environment with a lot of energy, like going to the mall, then you get maybe a little more strategic. You plan what you're going to do. I like going with people that are less sensitive because then I can just like hang on to the back of their shirt and they can just drag me around. But yeah. Okay, so Otto says, I had a problem with a boss who liked to fire his negative energy at me. Once I solved an issue about my father, the boss couldn't get at me. Some people aren't aware they aren't sending out energy. Well, we all project energy out into the world, and it is readily received by other people. And so the question I ask all of you is, what are you projecting out into the world? Is it a Hallmark movie or is it a horror thriller? So if you are filled with love and happiness and good energy, that's what you're projecting out into the world. If your inner world is filled with negative thinking and ego driven and mean and nasty or whatever, wherever you're at, that is what you're projecting out into the world. And I think we've all encountered people that just have bad mojo and we step away from them. But again, it's a spectrum. And so that is always being sent out. That is always being projected and being received by other people. And the more sensitive you are, the more you're going to pick that up. So the people that aren't highly sensitive, you might want to think about that as well, because the sensitive people are picking up your crap and we don't like it. We don't like it. Okay. Hi, Brenda. She says, hi, Rita. We just got a new landlord. Excuse me. And we don't know if we should renew our lease or move. Realtor is having a hard time, limited income. Do you see anything? We are so stressed, almost like Mercury retrograde. Uh, I mean, I'm not getting that the landlord is going to be all up your butt. I feel like if you pay your rent, they will leave you alone. I feel like this landlord might be a little slow on the uptake of fixing things. So if needing things repaired has been an issue, because it's an older home or whatever, I could see that being kind of a problem. I feel like he's not super responsive. Um, but I'm not feeling like there's a need to run and get out of there because it's new management. Yvonne said, that's a great question. See, I thought you were asking me, Yvonne. I'm like, well, no, you need to ask yourself that question, but she said, that's a great question. What do I need to do right now? And I feel like that's something that when we're in a place of turmoil or, like today, I mean, I was just cranky and it's like, what do I need to do? It's like, you need to go put your butt on the sofa. This is literally what I did. I was like not navigating well. And I was like, what do I need to do? And it's like, you need to just stop. And I got home and I took a nap and just kind of chilled. And, I'm like, I got the show tonight and I'm taking off tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to do something. I have things to do, but not at a breakneck speed. And I've taken some of my projects and taken them off the agenda for tomorrow. And that's what I need to do. And so you need to ask, what do I need to do right now? And you need to listen to yourself and actually do what that little insight is telling you and not overrule yourself. Sean says, I'll look at your website. I'll take a look and see. Okay, so website, bam, Sean, soulhealer.com, soulhealer.com. Okay, oops, comments. Okay, where was I? All right. Hi, Angie. Hey there, question. Is the universe guiding me to start a travel YouTube channel? Interesting. So, Angie, I have a follow-up question for you. And if you could cut and paste your question, if you can do that, I don't even know, and answer this question. Are you going to be interviewing people or traveling to places for this travel YouTube channel you're thinking about? Because I'm getting kind of an answer, but I want to see what you're thinking so I can give you a better, like what was going to be the format. Interview people that travel, you travel, and kind of do a travel documentary thing. What's the deal on that? Okay. All right. So Veronica says, question, I have been so physically fatigued lately. Any insights? So you're not the first person that's come to me with not necessarily fatigue, but just like this sense of overwhelm going on and not really being able to ground. And we talked about this like a long time ago, but I feel like there's just so much energy going on the planet, and there's just so much. There's a big disturbance in the force, and it's a very unspoken, unsaid disturbance. And if you pay attention to the conspiracy theorists, there's, all of this stuff going on, and I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist, and there is all of this stuff going on, and there's all of this spoken and unspoken tension happening. And I feel like highly sensitive people are being affected by that. So I'm not feeling like the fatigue you're having is necessarily yours or functional, but more your response to what's going on. So then again, ask yourself, ask your body, is this me? And if it's you, then ask, what do I need to be doing now? And if the answer you get is this isn't me, then take an inventory of what's going on with you so you can say, no, I'm okay, and separate out you from that energy. Okay. So Debbie, guess what? You've been selected to get a reading. Message me in private or send me a friend request. I know you're so excited. Okay, so Tyra, if you want a reading, then you should ask a question. But I can really tell that you're really not like a real person, because when I tune into that name, I don't get anything other than like a fake and a fraud, and not anything real. So please just go. Thank you. All right. So I'm just going to like, because she's hitting the room. Mary says, and of course the freaking spammers are back. Yeah. Bradley says, the readings I get are from lifelong friends raising my vibration to parts unknown. But that's good. I mean, and that's how it should be. You know, you shouldn't get a reading and walk out of it feeling bad and depressed, kind of thing. And so Angie says, I was going to visit new and different places and give my reviews, also create cinematography videos. Perfect, Angie. That was what I was wondering. So this is where I'm going to go with your answer. I am feeling like the travel YouTube channel is just step one in the process you will be moving into. You know, so I don't know if it'll turn into a book or, you know, like those glossy books, you know, tabletop books that people make up, you know, or some kind of another video out of your footage. But I'm feeling like that channel is going to give you the opportunity to collect information and to collect data and to collect your insights and document them. And I feel like after a while of doing that, you're going to be able to take that data set, and make something else out of it. And so, and I feel like that's the big ticket item. And this is kind of the research part. But you'll still get value because you'll, you know, pick up some viewers, blah, 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 blah. You know, so I don't feel like it would be a waste of your time in doing that. But I feel like there's a bigger prize on the other side of doing this project. I hope that makes sense. Okay, where am I? Okay, we got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay, let's see. I love you guys. So Otto says, with the groundhog prediction about an early correct, I hope so. But you know, it's been in the 60s. I actually took my jacket off outside today because I was hot, which is hardly ever happens. Okay, Marco says, great show, Rita. Thank you, Marco. And I'm all capitalized, so it's better. Hey, Joe. Nice to see you. All right, so Elizabeth says, hi, Rita. What is the best way to protect myself from a coworker with really scattered and mostly negative energy? Okay, so I am going to, all right, so how I want to do this. Okay, so this is going to sound really weird, but it works. So I want you to, and I just have this sitting here and hope, oops, that's not good. And it has really small print, so you can't read it. get like a business card or a little index card or whatever. And on the index card, I want you to like break out your crayons or whatever and make a circle on it, colored in with the highest vibration of your, I'm going to say your energy, your healing energy, I don't know, whatever you're being led to, um, and draw that in on there. And we don't want this to be too big. And then I want you to take the card. That's why I like business cards, because they're smaller. And with a little piece of tape, I want you to tape it to the like entrance to your cubicle, the entrance to your door, like over by where the, not by where the coworker is, because what that does is it actually kind of puts a, like a auric field around your space, because you're saying, this is my energy and I am connecting to this. And it's a way of protecting. I used to do that at psychic fairs, where there would be someone kind of kitty corner to me on the other side, and they had big freaking energy and they were controlling the aisle, and nobody could come to my booth because their energy was like plastered up against the edge of my booth. And I'm like, screw that. So I took one of my cards and I took one of my crayons, because I had crayons, and I put my little colors, and it doesn't have to just be one color. I used to do 2 colors, but for that one, it was like pink and yellow. And I took my card the next morning and I taped it to the bottom of to the leg of their table underneath their skirting. And they couldn't understand what was going on, because, and the husband was like looking around like, what's going on? You know, how come it's not the same? And it was like, try that, come back, let me know how that works. You know, and don't do the color thing till you're actually at work in that environment, you know, so you can like be in that space and be in your highest energy in that space. That's a great question, and I have not shared that on the show, so thank you for that. All right. Hi, Kit. I think you're a new person. Thanks for coming to the show. And she says, what is the deal with people with multiple personalities? Are these past lives stepping in? Just curious. Good question. Interesting. So people that have multiple personalities, it is the original personality dissociates from the body. So they like, whoop, they leave. And they leave pretty far, but it opens the door for other spirits to step in and take control of the body. And so, you know, so it's not past lives, but they're other souls. You know, I mean, it's almost like an entity attachment on overdrive. Although an entity, you know, when it's an entity, they usually are very negative, and these are not necessarily negative personalities that come through. But one of the things they have found in studying people with multiple personality disorder is that some personalities have different blood pressure. That, you know, there's the host personality, and then there's the subsequent personalities. And when they test the person in, when they're in the subsequent personality, sometimes they need glasses, sometimes their blood pressure changes, sometimes they have things like diabetes, you know, like their blood sugar changes. And, you know, these things that are automatic responses of the body. You know, it's not like my voice changes, which is something that I could fake. You know, you can't change your blood pressure just from like 1 minute to the next minute. You can't change your blood sugar levels. And, you know, but based on a personality and how the personality interacts with the body, that is highly possible. So cool. Thank you. Good question. So Angie said, that makes sense. Thank you. Really want to take control and do what I love and see what comes of it. You know, and that's the part that really is cool is you are taking charge. And when we're doing what we love, things seem to work out. And I don't feel like you have any fear around it. I mean, and that's the good part. I feel like, you just were kind of waiting for someone to go, yeah, I think it's a good idea, but I'm not getting that you're scared or you have misgivings or that your goal in doing it, and this is the most important part, that your goal in doing it is because if I do this, I will make $1 million. I don't feel like that's how you're going into it. You're going into it because it's something that you're being called and led to do. Excellent, excellent. And Elizabeth said, thank you, Rita. Appreciate your help. Okay, so Sean says, Rita, do you see an entity at all surrounding me? That's what I want to know. All right, Sean. Let's see. And I am going to say no. Now, what I am sensing for you, Sean, is that there is someone around you that has some really negative energy that has courted you. They are somebody that you have as part of your daily life. I feel like they've been in your life for a very long time. So old friend, family member, that kind of thing. I don't feel like it's a work-related situation because I feel like this dynamic and this relationship goes back a long time. I don't get the impression, excuse me, that you have bad or negative energy. But I feel like you're being affected by this individual who has negative energy. I mean, they just seem toxic and they're just like a crank and complainer person. But I'm not getting an entity around you. I'm not. Okay, Yvonne, you're my last one for today. And Yvonne says, I wish I could scroll this up better. It's weird. Since I saged on the last full moon and asked for only jobs I can be of service, the other jobs have gone away. Well, yay, and that's part of it is asking and being open to receiving. And good. Yay. Yeah. Okay, and so Angie says, thank you. Sean says, and thank you so much for this. I appreciate all of this. Thank you all. And Sean, I hope you do come back to the show because we really do have fun here. Yvonne says, great show. Thanks, Yvonne. Okay, so I am out of here. I'm out of here. So if you would like a more in-depth reading from me or want to get one of my books, dang it with me all along, Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4, you see, and I don't even have all of them here, or The Dysfunctional Dance of the Empath and Narcissist, or any of my other books or videos, please go to my website, soulhealer.com. Again, I will put up a link. My medical intuition training is going on sale for up to 40% off. And so if you have been interested in becoming a medical intuitive counselor, or certified energy medicine practitioner, please go to appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. And I think, hang on one second. And if I could spell .com. Actually, if you go to soulhealer.com, okay, if you go to soulhealer.com, see, I don't even have to send you all over the place. If you're interested in the training, go to soulhealer.com. Under the services, there's a link that says training, and that will direct you over there. So you don't have to remember appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. Just go to the training link and click through. Anyway, guys, I am going to get out of here. I hope you all have a great week. I can't wait to see you all next weekend. Like Otto, if you have a topic you would like for me to discuss during this forum, please drop me a note on Facebook, go to the webpage and send me a contact email thingy from the webpage, and we'll go from there. So till next week, I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.